when Sarah asked me if I would like to speak today, I immediately said yes. And when I got off the phone, Dean said, "That was a quick reply, you don't usually say yes that quickly." I explained to him that since I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer back in September, I've found a new me. Not only body-wise, hair-wise, but also within myself. I realised what it was like to be on the other side of the coin. We hear, as you said before, David, we hear of other people with cancer and we say, "Oh, we feel sorry for them," and we're glad it's not us. But then, out of the blue, one Saturday morning, we went out and did our normal walking, came home, it was lunchtime, and all of a sudden I got these violent pains within my stomach. Rolled around on the bed for a while and nothing happened, they didn't go. Dean rang the ambulance. The ambulance came and took me to Aldinga Hospital. They did some tests and found I had a mass inside. They then said, "Well, we need you to go to Flinders and we would have some more, they had some more tests done there." Not only did they find one mass, they found two. One was on the outside of the lung and one was on the outside of the bowel. I was fortunate to have two young gynecologists, absolutely wonderful people, that were in the emergency section. They told me that the head gynecologist was on holidays and they arranged for me to have an operation 3 or 4 days' time when he came back. So I had this operation. Saw the gynecologist afterwards and he came and told me it wasn't a walk in the park, it was a 5-hour operation. And then he proceeded to tell me what he took away. Just about everything. And I thought, well, that was really, to me, that was like opening up Pandora's box and taking out most of the treasure. But the point was, he was very happy with the operation. Now I have to refer to me, just take those for me. Give me a bit of breathing. For 5 or 7 days, I suppose. And they decided that I needed chemo. ASAP, they didn't want me to wait too long before. They didn't want, oh that's okay. They didn't want me to wait too long before I was to have chemo. But it was, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks before I started that. But when, this one like this one, when I arrived home, this is going to be a bit hard, I've got to control myself at this one. I walked in and there was a card, you'd have to read it. Read it for me. Yeah, and this is the card that I found that Dean had done when I walked inside.
Firstly, welcome home. It's great to have you here. You are stronger than you think, tougher than you know, greater than every bad moment.
That was what I walked into, which was a wonderful feeling, as you can imagine. When we were home, I suppose the first few days, we never spoke at all about cancer. It was just lying there, we never touched it. And it wasn't until one morning I got out of bed, sat on the edge of the bed, and just burst into tears, just cried. Dean came out into the bedroom, put his arm around me and said, "You should have done that a long time ago, it's about time." And I looked at him and said, "You know that I've been crying many nights. I've waited till you've gone to sleep, and that's when I did my crying." And I realised then that was no good. I couldn't keep it stored inside. I had to look at it and decide what I was going to do. And then I thought, well, it's like playing a game of snakes and ladders when we were younger. You'd throw the dice, you'd land on a ladder, and the ladder would either tell you to go up or go down. But I was in the middle of that. I had to decide to go up or go down. So I chose the best way is to go up, because we all know it's very difficult to go down a ladder backwards. So I think it was there that we sort of coped with it from there. I was having chemo for quite a few weeks, but I was having trouble with my feet and my legs. I got pins and needles in the soles of the feet, and my legs weren't very steady. I told the oncologist, and he really didn't worry too much about it. He said, that's all right, that'll go away. But it didn't go away. It was one of the drugs that I was having. So after a few more weeks, it didn't disperse at all. I still had it. They decided to cease chemo altogether. When I saw the oncologist, he said, we'll see how things go. But one thing I must mention that he did say to me, which really was wonderful, he said, you realise that the survival rate of ovary cancer is not good. And that was his parting words one day, which was a big help for him to tell me that. But we didn't take that on board at all. What else? Prior to stopping the cancer, I started to lose my hair. And I thought, now I'm not going to go through this where you lose a little bit day by day. I phoned Shane, our son standing over there, and he became my hairdresser. And he just loved the moment. Oh, it was all gone. So that was fine. But the next morning when I got up, went into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror, I didn't focus on the no hair. I suddenly realised I had these two big ears, which I hadn't seen before. So every morning I'd get up and go in the bathroom and I'd say, just look at these big ears. And
I would say, not those bloody ears again.
we decided that was one of the funny moments, and I suppose what we've done is to hone in on the good moments. We never actually said anything about the cancer that much, or what the stats were that I may not survive. I mean, that wasn't on our agenda. We had 3 holidays booked to go away in January, Australia Day, and the tattoo. But of course, we thought the chemo was going to go through to the end of February, but it didn't. But we cancelled the holidays. In hindsight, we could have gone. But when I spoke to the oncologist, he said, that's all right, I'll give you paperwork, take it with you, and then if you're not well, find a hospital somewhere, and then go. And I thought, well, that wasn't on our agenda, so we cancelled those holidays. A happy hour, and everyone over here was absolutely fantastic. I'd ordered headscarves, but they hadn't arrived, so I thought I've got to do something. So Shane phoned us and said Woolworths have got bandanas. So I thought, right, we'll go down to Woolworths and we look for the bandanas. And lo and behold, I found one in 4 power colours. And looking around, surprised at how many people are wearing 4 power colours.
Well, you wouldn't look too good at that, would you?
Absolutely. So we got this one, so I took it home and I got a piece of white material. So I wrote on the front of it that I have the power to win. So that's what I had. See, I wore that over at happy hour, and even the Grow supporters liked it. One of them actually come up one night and said, where's your hat? And I thought, well, we might, if we go long enough, I might be able to switch them over to be a port power.
You need to give one of those to the team. For the team.
Yeah, well, I thought of that. I was about to write a letter down to the coach, and I thought, oh, I'll give them a bit longer. So then we had another friend who is in the village, but Sue's not here today, is she?
No.
So Sue come down to the car one day, we'd only just come home, And she said, I've got a present for you. So this is what she gave me. And she said, that's to keep the hair out of your eyes.
That's when you're bald.
Yeah, and that was when I didn't have any hair. So it's moments like that that have been so good, and the people in here have been absolutely fantastic. We had one woman ring up the dean and say, if you haven't got any food in the fridge, I'll make some quiches so you can put them in your deep freeze. And I suppose it's that feeling that you've got so much warmth around you. I've got a wonderful family. I've got 2 granddaughters down there, another granddaughter over here, and there's a grandson with a grandson over here with his dad, and I've got a great granddaughter who's also here today. And being surrounded by this is just like a dose of good medicine. Dean, he's been my rock, and it's a big rock, as big as as big as Ayers Rock. We've had so much fun at home. I've lost weight, and which is a great thing. And I go into the bathroom and I can see the mirror, and I stand side on in the mirror, and I just say, this is so good, look at this wonderful body. and it spurs you on. Yesterday I came out of the bathroom and Dean went in, and he knew I'd been in there looking at myself. And I went into the lounge room, and I saw something on TV, and he heard me say, oh, that is so good. And he came in and looked around and said, well, where's the mirror in here for you to look at? So we're great walkers, and I started when I first came home. I started just walking around in the village, and then I thought, no, I'm game enough to go out further. So Dean would do his walk along the Esplanade, I'd go at my pace, and then we'd meet when he was on his way back. We built up to 2 kilometres, 4, 6 and 8. And then last week we went over to the Wollonga markets, and I said to him, while we're here...
Didn't walk there.
No, we drove the car over. And I said, while we're here, I think we'll walk to McLaren Bay. And he said, oh, right, you've got to get the bus back. And I said, no, we'll walk back. So we did. We walked the 8 kilometres to McLaren Vale. We had a coffee, and we turned around and walked back again. And it's challenges like that I give myself, and make sure that, you know, I know I'm okay to do them mentally, and I think about the legs, but that's secondary. I can sort of talk to them and say, well, you've got to do what I do. And that's it. Hey? Oh, okay. And it's been a wonderful voyage, if I can give you that term, wonderful, because
we don't like cruises.
Hey?
We don't like cruises, but
no. But it was proving to myself that, you know, once you get something like that thrown at you, you can cope. When prior to me having the cancer, and we would go out, and I'd see people who either were wearing a headscarf, or they had a bald head, they didn't have any hair. And I'd say to myself, what courage they have to go out like that. I could never do that, but I found I could. As soon as my hair started to come back, and I thought, well, this is me now, and this is how I'm going to be, and I'm okay with it. I went to have a blood test, and the nurse who I see quite frequently was there, and she'd always see me with hair or with the headscarf. Well, I didn't have hair, I didn't have headscarf, but she saw my hearing aids. So she sat me in the chair, did some paperwork, and she come over to me, looked me straight in the face, right in the face, and with a big voice said, what is your name? And I thought, oh no. She wrote that information down, came back. What is your date of birth? So she wrote that down. I came home and told the family, and young Jackson over here, well, said, didn't she realise that hearing aids make you hear better? And so, they're just so, the moments are so good that you can reflect back on. It's not what I've got. I've still got 2 spots there. I'm in remission, and life is good. We're training now very hard. We want to do the City to Bay. We've done it before on a number of occasions. Twice I've fainted on him, but I've finished twice. So the last time I was about 2 kilometres away from the end, and the ambulance was just down the corner, and he came down and said, I don't think you should finish. And I said, well, I want to finish. He said, well, get in the ambulance. So I said, no, that's not the way to finish. So we just walked in and we said, finish it. So I've giving him half a promise, so I'm trying not to faint again this time. But we intend to do it, and we'll be looking for sponsors because we want to raise money for cancer research. I just want to thank all the people here in the village. They have been absolutely fantastic, and they've taken it on board very well, and particularly the Port Power Hat. They love the Port Power Hat. Oh, Marlene?
That's enough.
I want to thank this wonderful, wonderful man here with me. Now, I can't get emotional. He has been fantastic, absolutely. Also, my wonderful family, from the littlest one down here. One day, we sent a photo through to young Ruby over there with me with no hair. We thought we didn't want her to see me without the hair and get upset. So we sent through a photo, and the next day when we saw her, I had the head scarf on, and she came down and looked at me with a little smile on her face and pulled it up and said, oh, and off she ran, and she was okay. But just, it is, I don't know, it's probably, I don't know how to say this, but it's an experience that has had, I think, more ups and downs, because it's just, I don't know, it's a different me. Spotty, of course, and this lovely head of hair. Jackson tells me he likes my old hair better, but he hasn't got any choices, Jack. But I suppose I've learned so much. I've learned so much about myself, what I can do, and what I will do in the future. Still keep up what we're doing. But thanks ever so much to everybody here and to management. It's been a very interesting journey.